Family, good morning. It is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Today is Wednesday. It is February 25th. I appreciate you getting active inside the comment box. Good morning to everybody. We'll give some shout outs here in a minute. We're at the midway point, okay? And I think, here coming up, it's going to be the month of March, right? The month of March is a great month to look forward to because we get some spring football. So it's coming around the corner. March is also, SEC basketball tournament, right? The start of the NCAA basketball tournament. So there's a lot going on. You kind of get to March and kind of things turn up for March and April. So we'll cover the news as it happens. I appreciate you guys. You also have the NFL Combine, which is taking place. You'll see on the field action on Thursday, starting on Thursday. I'll talk about that in the show. And then you also get the NFL draft, too. So these next couple months, March and April, action-packed. But I kind of start out today, and good morning to everybody. I appreciate you guys. If you caught me on Wake Up Bama, thanks for checking in. Thanks for always hitting the thumbs up on these videos. Thanks for the support and the super chats and you guys kicking it with me each and every day. My opening is kind of the 2026 breakout player. And who could that be, right? So what I need from you as I kind of open, I ask you some questions. Can you go ahead and post, right, who you think your breakout player will be on the offensive side? And what we'll do is we'll do offensive side and then we'll do defensive side, okay? So from the offensive side, who do you think a breakout player will be? And I guess we could set some parameters about what a breakout player consists of, right? To me, I think it's a player that is not necessarily a true freshman, right? It's like true freshmen. I mean, they can't have a breakout year. This is their first year. The freshman is kind of like a boom season. I think a guy that has a breakout season is maybe a guy who got their feet wet last year a little bit, and a guy that had some playing time, but not a lot of playing time. I think it could be, maybe a guy that started a couple games or whatever. I think it could also be, a redshirt sophomore or even a junior, guy going into, one of his later years that hasn't had the opportunity, that's kind of been loyal to the program and has kind of been, there. So, and off the top, I have I always have notes in front of me, but not necessarily. I kind of just, I'll look at the board and we can kind of go over some. So from the quarterback position, a breakout player, could Kalen Russell, could Austin Mack, I guess, this is a very popular topic to talk about each of these guys, but could one have a breakout season? I don't know. They could have a great season. But if someone has a breakout season, I kind of think that would be like Austin Mack, right? A breakout season for him because he's been doubted. Nobody thinks he's going to start. And then this guy comes in and just absolutely slays it. That would be like a breakout season. Kalen Russell is kind of weird. It's like we expect him to just be automatic. And he probably will. But I think it would be more of like a breakout season for a guy like Austin Mack. A guy who, probably looks NFL ready. A guy that's been doubted, a guy that played 4 games last year. And if he comes into the season, the first game of the year, the guy throws for like 330 yards. And the second game, he's like 300 yards or something like that. People are going to be like, yo, what's going on, But then the other side of the coin is that people are like, man, Austin Mack and Kalen Russell, they couldn't beat out Ty Simpson when he had gastritis and he dropped like 20 pounds? You see this? And that's what I still keep thinking about with the quarterback room going into this year. And I know, the coaches were patient not to put one of the quarterbacks out there because they weren't ready. But even for Austin Mack, really wasn't ready? That was his 3rd year within the program. He still wasn't ready. He couldn't beat out a guy who had gastritis. And according to the NFL reports, that's the main reason is the gastritis, which caused him to play from 215 down to 190 pounds. So this guy was vomiting. He was sick. He couldn't, he was losing weight and he was still beating out those other quarterbacks. So think about that. And was Ty Simpson the best quarterback in the country? think maybe people felt that, early on kind of in the season when he was up there to win the Heisman. But as he started to kind of slide off, the guys still couldn't beat him out. Right? I mean, he still played all the games, and they never gave anybody else an opportunity until he literally got hurt in the Rose Bowl. But, man, it's kind of interesting to think about it, right? So, I don't know. Like a breakout season, I would think like maybe Austin Mack for a quarterback position. For the running back position, I guess Khalifa Keith, no. Daniel Hill, A.K. Deere is probably the one I'd go with, right? I think A.K. Deere is like the guy that everybody feels that like he didn't probably get enough opportunities, that, he's a guy that going into this season, he's physically developed. I would imagine that there's a lot of you inside the comment box that have A.K. Deere as your number one running back, right? And I think that that's fair. I mean, I kind of feel the same way. I'm like, man, it looks like A.K. Deere is ready. And he's going to have to, I guess, jump Daniel Hill or however that running back shakes out. Let me ask you this. When we go to March, right, and we get spring football practice and we get those, tiny little pieces of footage, do you think A.K. Deere is going to be the first running back taking reps? Or do you think he'll be behind Daniel Hill? I mean, does it matter? I don't know, but usually they kind of show you, who's up at the top. I don't think it's going to be Xavier Crowell, right? Not to say that he won't play. I'm just asking you. And if you mention A.K. Deere, then there's always someone that says, well, don't sleep on this guy. And if you mention this guy, they're like, don't sleep on that guy. So you can't sleep on anybody, right? It's funny. I always post stuff on Facebook, and the very first thing they say is, don't sleep on this guy. Don't sleep on. So I always go inside the comment box, and I'm like, don't sleep on A.K. Deere, to try to beat people that are going to say it. So the biggest thing that you can't do is sleep on A.K. Deere. I promise you. The other guy you can't sleep on is Drake Kirkpatrick. Those two guys, like, don't sleep on them, because that everyone's going to say that before you, right? So I guess A.K. Deere. I mean, you're really going to have like a breakout season for a guy that didn't even play, right? See, Brock the Baller doesn't even have Daniel Hill is not the number one running back. So what do you have, Brock Baller? I appreciate you, man. How do you have it? Do you have post your running back rankings, and I'll post them on the screen right now. I'll wait for you to do it, Brock Baller. Let's see what Brock Baller has, because he doesn't have Daniel Hill as the number one back. So let's see how Brock the Baller has it. I'm curious to see it. And I'm totally open to seeing your guys and posting on the screen, because, I mean, people are like, I think there's competition on offense all over the place. That's why I kind of start with offense, right? Let's see. Jarvis has it like this. Jarvis has it A.K. Deere, Hill, Crowell. Yep. But you know who you're sleeping on, Jarvis, right? You're sleeping on Kevin Riley. But then you're like, is Kevin Riley going to play over, Daniel Hill? You'd be like, well, no. See? There you go. Patronic. There it is. Don't sleep on A.K. Deere. Crowell Hill. Okay, here we go, Brock. What's up, Brock? Brock has it like this. He's going for the big guns right away. Crowell, A.K. Deere. You imagine if we started the season and those are our guys. People, you want to get the fans going? Do that. If you want to get ultimate fan rowdiness, come out with Kalen Russell, come out with Crowell and A.K. Deere, and just go to work. That's it, right? But I think the most anticipated player that we've had, probably since I've covered the team, is probably Xavier Crowell, right? So this is another sub question. Over the last 10 years, right, who is the most anticipated player to get on the field? I think it's definitely got to be Xavier Crowell. I have never seen another player that people are more excited to feel that he's going to start than Xavier Crowell. I mean, okay, let's see. People were really excited about Bryce. Bryce was one of them. Bryce Young. Like, I think there was excitement for Tua, but but we already had a quarterback kind of coming back. Is there anyone else? Right? Crowell's got to be like the guy that is probably the most anticipated. Shad the Fisherman, man. What's up? No position is 100%. I agree with this. And that's why you don't necessarily have like 11 starters. This isn't high school football. You know what I'm saying? You have like 20 starters. Guys that you can like pop in different rotations, right? Jarvis says there hasn't been, right? It seems like Xavier Crowell is kind of, yeah, Chris, I was thinking about this. I think Ryan Williams was up there for sure. Todd backs that up. Yeah, I would say, okay, so we got, we got three guys. Crowell, Williams, Bryce Young. Who else was up there? Is there any guy on defense that we had? Yeah, Slim Reaper. I mean, Sedarian Morgan, I'm excited about him. But this isn't like a knock against him. It's just I'm talking from like a hype perspective. Okay, still on breakout players. Okay, wide receivers. Okay, this is a good one. Who could be a breakout player at the wide receiver room? Again, not really a freshman, but a guy coming back for like year 2, year 3, or whatever. Let's see. Rico Scott could be that guy, right? I would say this. Rico Scott or Derek Meadows. Either of those guys, if they have like a big season, that would be a breakout season, right? Rico Scott probably. So far we got Austin Mack, I guess AK Deer, Rico Scott. Rico comes out because there's crowded rooms everywhere. But Rico, now you have some other guys that jumped in, right? And you also have Derek Meadows right there, probably fighting for opportunities. You added Tyler Henderson. You added Noah Rogers. Yeah, that's a difficult room to like kind of shine. They got a lot of guys. Okay, tight ends. We're going to talk about tight ends today. I talked about tight ends on Wake Up Bama. We'll kind of, continue that route. Tomorrow will be offensive linemen or receivers. I might do receivers tomorrow and then offensive linemen the next day. I'll figure that out. Tight ends, I don't know. I mean, I guess Caleb Edwards in year 2, whoever's taking over for Josh Cuevas, that's actually some big shoes to fill, right? Like whoever's taking over for Josh Cuevas, because I think the last 2 seasons, the tight end room has been pretty good. It hasn't been elite, but it's been pretty good. CJ Dupree, but we took a step forward. We can't take a step back. Let me ask you this. Okay, honestly, and we're talking about the tight ends today. Are we going to have a tight end that's better than Josh Cuevas this year? Because when it was interesting to see, Josh Cuevas didn't have a lot of production last year, right? I think at the point in time where he got injured, I think he had like 300 yards. But when he went out, man, people were like, yo, Josh Cuevas is the best receiver on the team. Like, I can't believe he's not. It was like the biggest storyline. You could do a video about him every single day. So when you look at the tight end room, Danny Lewis, Jay Lindsey, Jackson Marco, Josh Ford, Pritchett, Lewis, Sutter, are we going to have a better tight end than Josh Cuevas this year? That's kind of interesting to think about. Because we went CJ Dupree, step up to Josh Cuevas. Do we go step up or do we go step down? Josh Cuevas was good, for sure. But do we go up or do we stay even? Caleb Edwards he's damn good. It's his sophomore year. He played pretty much every game last year, dependable target. That's an interesting question. I don't know. And then we have the offensive line, right? And man, I guess a breakout. This one is kind of easy for me, actually. I think when you look at the offensive line in terms of a breakout player, this seems a little bit easier because I think that a guy like William Sanders, Casey Poe, if those guys have a breakout season, if those guys can beat out some of the other transfers that Alabama got in, that would be impressive to me. Brock the Baller says, Kyle, look what ESPN just alert. Did they have a story on Crowell already? Yeah, not surprised, man. What would ESPN do without Alabama? I have no idea. O3 saying Rico Scott has something to prove. See, I think so too, bro. And I don't think that he's going to turn into like another Kendrick Law, because remember Kendrick Law a couple years ago? Kendrick Law was a guy that he looked the part. He looked faster than everybody, and then he just never played, right? And then he went off to Kentucky, and he did okay, but he wasn't like a game changer. Okay, so offensive line, I got Will Sanders, Casey Poe, and then also, how about some Jackson Lloyd, right? I think Jackson Lloyd, going into his second year here at Bama, I think he could be a guy that maybe has a breakout season. And what I mean by that is, he had year one, maybe just small opportunities, but maybe he fights for like a starting spot. A lot of people talking about Jackson Lloyd being a starter somehow. Marcus St. Pete's, what's up, bro? Good to see you, man. I'll do some shout-outs here in a minute. We're just kind of running through on the opener, like some breakout players. And the small criteria that we said is not necessarily a freshman because they just got here. That's kind of like a boom season. But like guys who are in their second year, third year, kind of, if they can get on the field and make a big splash, right? All right, moving to the defensive side. Defensive line. Let's see. How about like Fatoa Henry? And I'm not talking like transfers either, like guys who have been here. So I'll do it like this: Fatoa Henry, Edric Hill, Isaiah Faga, Jeremiah Beeman, Stephen Boomois. I guess. Well, London Simmons kind of already is on the scene. There's some interesting options on the defensive line. Okay, Fatoa Henry, he's gonna be a redshirt senior. Edric Hill was pretty good. How about Jeremiah Beeman kind of coming back, right? For like healthy. It's actually a pretty good defensive line that we got. A lot of older guys. Think about all the guys. Look how old these guys are. Kedrick B. Jones, 7th year. Fatoa Henry, redshirt senior. Edric Hill, redshirt senior. Devin Tompkins, redshirt senior. Desmond Zulu, senior. Terrence Green, redshirt junior. Faga, redshirt sophomore. Beeman, redshirt sophomore. Stephen Boomer. That is a very experienced defensive line. Very experienced. A lot of guys, most of those guys are in their third year. Some of those guys in their 7th. See, I haven't seen, look, Rex is talking about Fatoa Henry. That I'm telling you, this guy is really good. He didn't play much last year. Now that I look at it like that, that's a very experienced room. Okay, linebackers, inside backers to be specific. Let's see. Caden Jones is a clear, guy who could have kind of a breakout year. Same thing with QB Reese. I think those guys, or one of the super sophomores, right? Like a Duke Johnson, Luke Metz, Abdul Sanders. Those are guys who could, have a big breakout year. I think we already know how good Justin Hill is. Yanzi Pierre, right? Oh, O3's talking about sign Kyle Henderson at receiver. Yo, did you see that Bama is actually, don't make me play my highlight tape. I play it every once in a while. But did you see that Alabama's one of their top 2027 prospects is named Kalen Henderson? He spells this young man is a linebacker, right? One of the top linebackers in the country out of Florida. That's the exact same. He's the exact same size as my son, who's junior going into his senior year. I think it's hilarious, right? They spell it Kaden, same thing. And my Kaden too is like 5'10", 215. So yeah, big dude for sure. I call it like living with him is like living with like Renta Samoa. He's so strong, it's insane. Okay, corners, we got a couple more before we finish out our breakout players, okay? Like theoretical breakout players. Corners, we got, a name that we haven't really added to our board that we need to. Nick Sherman out of Tuscaloosa, out of Northridge, right? He got added to the team recently within the last several months. Xavier Brown, we already know how good he is. Red Morgan, we already know how good he is. I guess depending on if he plays corner or safety or wherever he plays, I don't know. I guess Drake Kirkpatrick, right? He had his off the field stuff. He's back. Are you guys excited to see Drake Kirkpatrick Jr.? Right? I mean, I don't. I'm sure things are. He took care of his stuff. I see a lot of people super excited about Drake Kirkpatrick coming back. So, but I think he'll probably, I would imagine safety or Husky, I guess. I don't know. Oh, how about Chuck McDonald? We haven't really seen Chuck McDonald. There you go. Rex, dude, Rex knows. This is Rex's specialty area, is breakout players. All right? Okay, safeties, we got Ivan Taylor's a good one. Ivan Taylor, second-year guy. Yo, Ivan Taylor played a little bit last year. Not an overwhelming amount, but played. Will High Note, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna do call-ins today, Cody. It's just really been me and you talking, dude. The call-in lines has been pretty low, and every single time I do the call-in line, it costs. So it's like I'm paying more. You know what I'm saying? It's like from a business perspective. Like during this month, I was looking over my finances recently, and I was like, I'm paying $35 for the call-in show every single day. So might have to kind of wait for things to kind of pick up again. Let's see. And then I guess like kickers, you got I don't know, you got a new. I mean, maybe there's not one there because Connor Talty comes back. What if Connor Talty beats out Lorcan Quinn, right? I guess kind of that. I mean, Lorcan Quinn, I guess according to everybody else, has already won, right, the job. I mean, but if that was the case, then why is Connor Talty still here? It's like Connor Talty's not just going to roll over. In fact, Connor Talty seems like he's pissed off, right? And thanks for the 69, 70 people that are here. I appreciate you guys, right? Yeah, almost to 75 people on this beautiful Wednesday. All right, so thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. Let's see, out of the 70 people that are here, we got Patriotic. Good to see you, Patriotic. Thank you so much. I appreciate Patriotic calls in from time to time. Young C, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. Max Tooney, good morning to you. Miss Crystal Jones, thank you very much for being here. Jeff, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Hope you're having a really good Wednesday. Broderick, my boy, good to see you, man. Good morning to you, Broderick, out here in Tuscaloosa. Jeffrey, what's up, man? Good to see you. Danny the Great. Michael Hill, what's up, Michael Hill? Good morning to you. Danny the Great, man. Hope you're off to a really good start on this beautiful Wednesday. Army, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Army 3275. I'll never forget it, right? Like you and Chad Kennedy, because whenever the usernames got switched, I just always remembered the original usernames, right? TMZ, I love this username. What's up? Said what's up to Rex a few times. Rex out in Huntsville. From, what's going on, man? Good to see you, brother. You love that. The old school, the old school undefeated. That's really the staple logo, right? Chris from New Jersey, what's up, man? Good to see you. Chris from New Jersey, a.k.a. Golden Mash, a.k.a. Waste Management, a.k.a. Montclair, right? Yo, Chris, are you still buried in snow? What's the deal, bro? Thomas, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Jarvis, my right-hand man, bro. Jarvis is like the type of guy who's going to be like, if I ever get married again, Jarvis is going to be like either in the wedding party or he'll be like there, like reminding me like what to say if I have to like get up and, say something. Right, Jarvis? You're going to be that guy. You always need a guy like that. Like, I had a guy like this at my wedding, Jason Bramwell. He lives in Boston. He lives in Back Bay. Anybody familiar with Back Bay? So he flew to Albuquerque when he was married. He wasn't in my wedding party, but he was just what you need is a yes man. So he was like a yes man. Whatever I needed those kind of days leading up to the wedding, he was on it. Like it didn't matter. He was kind of like a what do they call it in volleyball? Someone who could do everything, like a LeBaron, right? He was that person. That's who Jarvis is going to be, right? Kendrick Flo, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. Good morning to you. Jackson, Rockhold, good morning. Let's see who else we got up inside the building. We got Lottie 3426. Good morning. Appreciate you. Bulldog, Mississippi. Thank you so much for being here. All right. Rocketown. Rocketown's been here for a long time. Rocketown's gonna be like on the Hall of Fame board. Brock the Baller starting to earn more, clout. I love the takes of Brock the Baller. We have during our watch-alongs. You guys want to do a watch-along tonight for the basketball game? It's late. It's 8. It's at 8, right? I'll be sleepy. 03, what's up, man? I appreciate you. Always rocking it, man, inside the comment box. Wade's World, what's up, bro? Marcus in St. Pete's. Georgie Boy, right? This is Georgie Boy, right? Amanda Jane, what's up, Amanda Jane? How you doing this week? This week has flown by, right? I think this week has been, it's kind of just, it's been a good week, right? All right. So I appreciate everybody inside the comment box for hanging out. Really do. Thank you so much. Jackson says, how about some golf polos or golf hoodie for the next giveaway? Yeah, so for our next giveaway, you beat me to it. But this is what we got for our next. This is the hoodie. This is this week's hoodie. All right. So super chat will get you in. $10 to enter Venmo, Bama _YouTube, Cash App, Bama YouTube for this clean white hoodie. All right. This is I need to be wearing this myself. Okay. I probably order this after the show. This is I love my hoodies. This is a nice hoodie. 100%. The crest goes hard. Right. All right. So if you watch Wake Up Bama, I discuss kind of the 12 personnel, situation, and feel free to be like, yo, Kyle, add this guy to the board or whatever. This is just the names on here do not represent any sort of official depth chart. Okay. It provides reference points, literally just placeholders. But if you feel out there and you're really educated in a certain area, just be like, yo, it makes more sense to me that this guy would play here over this guy based on this. And I'm totally down with it. But in a 12 personnel set, you have 2 tight ends and you had 2 wide receivers and a running back, right? And there's different variations, of course. But I was thinking about this and I was like, and even I like to mess around with this and even take AK Deer out, who I have here, and put in Daniel Hill. And then if you have Caleb Edwards, Josh Ford, those are some big bodies. And you put Daniel Hill back there, who, I don't know, let's just say he's still at 240 pounds. How the hell are you not going to be able to run the ball, right? I mean, I don't know how Josh Ford is in terms of, catching the ball, but Caleb Edwards is really good. We've already discussed him. And maybe we do play a lot of 12 personnel. Maybe early on in the season, that might be kind of the key to establishing some sort of offensive identity, right? And maybe that's a way to allow these offensive linemen to gain some confidence because there's two other big, tight ends out there with them. We can maybe move the rock a little bit more, right? Will High Note wants his hoodie the same color as Frank's Buffalo hot sauce. Probably. Frank's is good, man. I'm telling you. You know what? I'm telling you. The Chick-fil-A sausage sandwich with Frank's hot sauce, one of the best breakfast sandwiches. Has anybody had this with the Frank's Red Hot? I love Frank's, right? It's very good. It's a perfect heat. Is Frank's Red Hot sauce. We have it here. But I think, and depending on how the offensive line looks, I think like this is a good initial setup. Do you guys like this? You imagine kind of going in some heavy package to where we have, I don't know, Daniel Hill back here with the two tight ends, and you kind of motion over Caleb Edwards to the left, and now everybody's kind of going this way with Daniel Hill, right? Like a student body left sort of thing. I mean, man, if you're getting beaten in that area, and you could switch out, you could put Jackson Lloyd here, or you can put Will Sanders here. I don't know. But if we're moving this way, you can put in a bigger wide receiver, maybe like a Rico Scott or something like that. It would be sad if we can't move the ball, right? This is kind of the formation that Alabama tends to run more. And this is kind of like their base set. And in this particular graphic, I didn't put any guards. And I have 3 wide receivers on here. Cedarian Morgan, you could swap him out for like Noah Rogers or whoever you want. You tell me, I'll add him onto the board. And I put a freshman just in this package. And I put actually 2 freshmen, right? It looks like I put Crowell and Sutter. Not because of any particular reason, just because it's a graphic sake. And this is kind of like Bama's base. And when they do go to 5 wide, they kind of move and shift with, in this particular area, Frank's kind of going out to the right. Will says, I saw in some recent picks, Ryan Williams. It kind of does like Ryan added a little bit. It seemed like he added even a little bit more weight at some point in the season. Like, I don't know what he's like officially playing at, but I think like what he's not like 170. I think he's closer to like 190. I do. Maybe, what if Ryan Williams plays at like 195 and still retains some of that speed? Yo, that could be electric. I don't know. But I think something like this, and you take out probably Max Sutter, and you probably put in Caleb Edwards, you probably put in Noah Rogers, and you probably have these 2 wide receivers right here with Ryan and Lazier Brooks, and depending on who the quarterback is, and depending on who's hot at running back, it's not a bad set. But once again, we could talk about the skill guys. We got skill guys for days, right? We got a quarterback for sure. Right here, none of this works if the offensive line doesn't work. That's the only thing that slows this team down, right? What are you going to say? We don't have like athletes? We got them. So again, like when we talk about the offensive line here in a couple days, that's clearly I think it's the biggest area of emphasis on Alabama's entire roster is how good is the offensive line going to be. And I think if they're really good, Alabama's really good. I think if they're good, Alabama's good. I think if they're average, Bama's average. Seriously. The whole season this is crazy. The whole season might hinge on the offensive line play. Right? That's kind of it. I don't know if I'm scared to think about that or not. I don't know. I just freaked myself out. But I'll stay positive. Maybe it works out, right? Pretty much everything does work out. But we can't get worse than we were last year. When we look at the tight ends specifically, right? You look at the tight ends. And we got a lot of guys, right? I guess I would imagine Danny Lewis comes back after his injury. There's been like no official statement, but I think he comes back. Poor dude was banged up all last year. Jackson Marco, Jay Lindsey, Caleb Edwards, Pritchett, Sutter, Josh Ford, and then we have a preferred walk-on, right? Before I discuss these guys, let me take a question from Wade. Wade says, inside the comment box, will A-Day return to normal this year? I do not think A-Day will return to normal. That's my prediction. I think, and this is, again, a prediction with not knowing anything, I don't think so. I think that A-Day was associated with kind of the last regime, and this kind of A-Day is probably still aimed at being a celebration for people, but I think it's more going to be like what we saw last year, which was just a practice. And if you came last year and you were kind of used to the old format, you were disappointed with what you saw. If I had any feedback and like positive criticism to give back to like the university, I would say make this somehow like fan interactive. It felt dull. It felt boring. It didn't feel like there was any sort of like camaraderie. It felt kind of confusing. I think this should be a home run day for Kalen DeBoer to take the platform and to bring everybody together and be like, hey, everybody, I'm going to do, this is why we're doing this particular drill. This is where, this is our new coach. Like they need to be like super interactive with people to kind of build things up. I think it's an easy day to build fan camaraderie. But I think this particular situation is just like, get people here, get them to the restaurants, have them stay a night, just call it whatever, and then get them out. There's kind of an other side. There's another argument with A-Day that like the city of Tuscaloosa, and I still don't understand why. And if you're from here and you're a little bit older, you probably know more about this. And I'm still trying to like figure this out. But I've heard that the city of Tuscaloosa didn't like A-Day anyways. I think they said there was like I don't know why exactly, because if they didn't like it, I think it was like people coming in, which is weird because the city operates clearly on tourism, right? And people coming over here. But then why don't you do you feel the same way about the Morgan Wallen concert? Right? Because that Morgan Wallen concert is going to, like, have you seen hotel prices for that time? I mean, they're impossible. So I'm wondering about that. But I don't think that A-Day will be the same again. And that's just how it was, See, this is it. Yo, wait, say yes. They say like, actually, like this is kind of like rumor, not rumor, but they say that there's a gang. I'm dead serious, that comes in to Tuscaloosa every A-Day and like causes a lot of problems. Right? I guess those same problems won't exist with, 100,000 coming in for Morgan Wallen. I don't know. But I'm telling you, that Morgan Wallen concert is going to be crazy. Crazy. If I'm not going to that concert, then I'm leaving the city. Right? See, people talking about they feel like the A-Day, for whatever reason, it got like super like danger. I'm dead serious. That is something. I've heard that before. Okay. Now let's talk about this tight end room. And if you caught my Wake Up Bama, I kind of went over this, so I'll kind of curtail it a little bit, and I'll give you kind of just the high points. I think that this particular room, you got this guy right here that is probably going to shine. I think Josh Ford in it, and it's hard for a tight end to shine. Like, it's not going to be like he's not going to like win any awards or anything like that, but you could shine other ways, right? I think that you could shine by being a player that's making blocks that necessarily the TV isn't capturing. I think you could be a guy that helps the run game, that kind of provides some extra protection for the quarterback. I think this could totally be a great opportunity for Josh Ford to have a really great season here. On the other side of him, I think Caleb Edwards is probably going to be that guy after Josh Cuevas, and that's big shoes to fill. Josh Cuevas was very good. He was. And as I was asking you this morning, rank your tight ends over the last 10 seasons. I think most of you probably have OJ as number one, but he was here before kind of that time period. So I think I go Irv Smith, and then okay, here's a good one for you. Was Josh Cuevas better than Cam Latu? Was Josh Cuevas better than Cam Latu? I think that I'll probably say yeah. I think so. So okay, Josh Cuevas wins that little, head to head. How about this? Was Josh Cuevas better than Miller Forrestall? Yeah. Yeah. Was Josh Cuevas better than Irv Smith? No. No. I got Irv Smith so far as my top. Josh Cuevas until I could think of someone better than him. I thought Amari Niblack would be better. I thought Billingsley would be better. Those guys weren't. I thought Caleb Odom would be the man. He wasn't. Remember how hyped up we were for Caleb Odom? Man, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is look, because Caleb Odom will be a junior on this board right here. And I don't know if he would have stayed with like the tight end room, but I like to think, hindsight on that. I'm like, damn, man, Caleb Odom, like if he had stayed with the process, he'd be the guy this year. You guys got OJ, and then after that, it seems to be like a big, a big kind of gap. And Jarvis points out the fact that Latu was a touchdown machine. He caught 8 touchdowns, but he wasn't even a tight end by design. Remember Niblack, man? Shoot. What other tight ends? Can you think of any others? I mean, Robbie Oots, clearly. That's one of our favorites. But he was like an H-back. I'm trying to think of other tight ends. Robbie Oots just won a Super Bowl. I can't even think of other ones. Remember when Billingsley was returning kicks? No, so I liked Billingsley. I did when he first got here. But then I quickly noticed that he was slow. I was just like, oh, he actually looks kind of slow. And right as I started thinking about that, they put him back to return kicks. Like in a game. I don't know. The tight end, we haven't had the type of tight ends that Georgia has had. That's kind of like the one area that they have. They've been excelling. They can get tight ends there. Why can't we get tight ends here? Maybe these guys will be that group. Because Marshall Pritchard's actually really good. And so is this guy. The future right here, like these three, great. Great. They're young, right? The second-year player, first-year player, second-year player, right? Right? Why was he returning kicks? That was the weirdest thing I ever seen in my life. You put like a Lazier Brooks back there. You're like, okay, yeah, it makes sense, right? They put like Kendrick Law a couple years ago back there. Yeah, put a guy back there. But like Billingsley? I was like, what? You also have a new tight ends coach, clearly, right? Richard Owens. He was most recently the offensive line coach at Louisville and has a lot of Southeastern experience. We've discussed him many different times and kind of the excitement that we have for him. I think this was kind of I think these were some chess moves made by DeBoer in kind of this type of season from a recruiting perspective, because I'm thinking, I was like, Richard Owens knowing the land so well and Derek Nix that's a hell of a combo recruiting wise, right? And I think Adrian Clem is another guy that can do really well in recruiting just because of, his mentality, where he's been, what he's won. He can kind of be probably more national, and those guys can kind of be more Southeastern. I have no idea how they split it up, but Richard Owens seems like he's got contacts all over the place. So, excited about the new coach coming in. The old tight ends coach is now the quarterback's coach. Patriotic has stats on OJ. 104. Yo, this is crazy. Man, we haven't had a tight end close to this. Actually, well, I'm going to point out one stat. So OJ Howard had 114 receptions in his career, 1,700 yards, 7 touchdowns. But did you know that Cam Latu, during that one season, he caught 8 touchdowns alone, which is a single season record for Alabama tight ends. That's wild to think about. Yeah. And then he went to the 49ers, and I don't even think he made the squad. I think they cut him. I can't remember. All right. Okay, so tonight we have Alabama taking on Mississippi State, okay? I think LeBaron Philon, man, this is the only thing with this team. I love this team. You know what's going on with Bediako? He's trying to, he's going to the Supreme Court. He's asking if he can come back. So you kind of have that as a distraction kind of in the background. And then LeBaron Philon is, I think he's a game-time decision. That's the only thing with this team, man, is they go through a lot of bumps and bruises, probably more so than any other team that I've been following, over the last several seasons. It seems like if LeBaron Philon isn't banged up, Holloway is. And if Holloway and Philon are healthy, then Right Cell's got a toe. And then, you know what I'm saying? It's like all these guys are always banged up. It seems to be a common theme every single time we talk about it. This is crazy. Bama tonight, 13.5. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Yo, 13.5 tonight. Coleman, right? Bama's been red hot the last 7 out of 8 games they've won. They're playing better, during that stretch since kind of the Bediako stuff. That's why I don't want to, when things are working, I don't want to add an extra, when the food is good, it's good. It doesn't need a pinch of anything, right? This is good right now. We don't need another ingredient. Do we need, okay, I know this is hard. And be honest with me, because maybe we do. Maybe I need to see things a little bit differently. Does Bama basketball need Bediako? That might be our question our poll question. Does Bama basketball, and think about this, I'm kind of in the reactionary phase right now, but let's think long term, okay? Does Alabama basketball need Bediako? Okay. See, Broderick, that's not bad, okay? And okay. And look, knock on wood, we would be begging for Bediako if Sherelle has a pinky or a hand or something like that, and he's not 100%. I'm dead serious. Who's in after Sherelle? And I agree. Right now, I'm saying no because things are going well. But for the long run, he goes out, and you know how glass this team is. This team is like glass. If this team was a drinking glass, you wouldn't drink with it. You grab it and it'd shatter. See, Wade is saying Bama needs some rebounds. That's an area for sure. They've gotten better at points in the paint over the last couple of games. I don't know. It's an interesting question if you think of long term. Now, right now, do you need him tonight? No. Right? Glass, bro. I don't even know what type of glass this team is, bro, but it's glass. It sucks, but it's true, man. Oh, man. So tonight, 8 p.m., Bama, Mississippi State. All right. Clearly, I love these two. I love Motor. Aiden Sherelle, this dude has been playing. He has 2 double-doubles in the last game. He fouled out, this last game, but he's been playing well. He played so great against Arkansas. And then our boy Mallette. Look, I don't know what he'll do tonight. He'll get minutes. He'll get like 20 minutes or whatever. But this dude, Max, you're 1,000,000% right, bro. The Diabate. That's the guy. That's who we need. We need Diabate. But he's gone. Mallette, my prediction is Mallette will hit a game-winning 3 for Bama in the Sweet 16. Something crazy like that. That's the type of play this guy has. Right? The world will be on fire and you have one bucket of water and this dude, either him or Ricel. Ricel is more clutch. This guy is more like special moment situation. You got to have guys all over like that, right? You need your little hype guy that you get in. That's who this is, right? Ricel is kind of like, man, Ricel will hit a 3 with 2 seconds left. Actually, I might go, instead of Phylon, which is crazy to think, if I got a last second shot, do I go Phylon or do I go Ricel? I might go Ricel. Ricel's money, man. You know, if I got 15 seconds, I'm going with Phylon. And I'm letting him, you know, hopefully cut to the basket and make something happen. Around the basket, Phylon's phenomenal, right? And he can shoot the 3, of course. If I got like 3 seconds, I'm setting some sort of screen up to where I'm getting the ball to Ricel. And if I need a big 3 to like get momentum, I'm going to Mallette. And then you also have Holloway. Yeah. Those guards on the team are crazy. And what about Amari Allen? I know. If I need a half-court shot, I'm going with Amari Allen. Right? Yo, Amari Allen will shoot from wherever. Man. So that's how I'm using my 3-pointers. Fam, this video is powered by Sleeper, right? $20 when you just download the app, the promo code, which is tailgate. Terms and conditions apply. I appreciate you guys always supporting Sleeper. Remember, past performance is not indicative of future results. And when you kind of look to the board tonight for Sleeper, Mississippi State, Alabama, just some analytics for us to look at. Alabama, from the data, it says 91% chance to win, as Jarvis pointed out, 13.5-point favorite. And then the more or less, do you think that Aiden Holloway scores more or less than 25? More or less than 25? I think that I would say I'm going to go less. I think he'll have a good game. I know, look, Jarvis said Holloway's due for a big game. But Jarvis, 25 points, big game? Man, I don't think so. That's a tough one. Okay, and I guess this is pending on what we got going on with LeBaron Phylon. You know what? If LeBaron Phylon doesn't need to play tonight, if he's not 100% by right now, then sit him, right? Have him for the weekend game, Saturday, right? We need him 1,000,000% as we go. Right. So I appreciate the 60 of you guys that were on the show today. I really do. Thank you so much for always hanging out with me. I really appreciate you guys getting inside the comment box, supporting Wake Up Bama, supporting the videos as you see them out there, as we push them and whatnot. And if you were a member, a fan funder, I posted a video this morning after the workout, kind of just like a life coaching video that I like to do. So I appreciate you guys rocking with me today. And hope you guys had a good show. Thank you very much for supporting me. Hit the thumbs up if you can inside the comment box. And news as it happens, I'll be back. And I hope you enjoy your beautiful Wednesday. News as it happens right here on Bama Football. At the perfect time. Oh, I thought it ended. Shoot. All right. All right, see you, fam.